Bismillahi walhamdulillahi assalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah amma ba'd rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, my dear brothers. Today we are restarting our classes after the Hajj and Eid break. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept all our ibadas, all our duas, all our good deeds. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. Let's start today's lesson. Inshallah, we will start a new Surah Fussilat, and we will try our best to cover from ayah number 1 until 28. So let's start. Just like every surah, when we are starting and we are doing an introduction, we will start with the introduction of this surah. Here now we will be using a new format that I found as Quran blueprints. And these are very nice summaries done for all of the surahs of the Quran. So I'm sharing the same slides that they have captured, and I found it really interesting and relevant to the way we discuss the introduction of surahs. So Surah Fussilat, it has total number of 54 ayahs. There's a lot of text in this slide, so I'll be pointing this red highlight pointer so that you guys can follow what I'm talking about. So here we have 54 ayahs in this surah. It was revealed in Makkah. In the order of Quran, it is surah number 41. We know that total number of surahs in Quran are 114, so this is number 41. It basically opposes the pagans and the chiefs who were opposing the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam at that point in time. So this surah is giving them multiple answers, and it is also stating the fact that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the sole creator of the universe. It is warning the deniers of guidance, those people who are opposing the guidance, that their own body organs will testify against them on the judgment day, and they will be eventually led into the hellfire where they'll be residing in forever. Overall, the topics covered: creation of heavens and the earth, story of Ad and Samud that we will also go through today, inshallah, scene of the judgment day, and then that the fact that the Quran has been sent in Arabic and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sign. These are different parts of this surah. So the first part that is covering from ayah number 1 until 8 is about the introduction and the divine revelation, which is the Holy Quran. Then the second part, covering from ayah number 9 until 18, is about the challenge that has been given to the disbelievers and the creation of the heavens and the earth. Then we have the part from ayah number 19 until 25 within the same surah that covers about the judgment day and realization, rejection, those who reject the guidance and what is their punishment, and then righteous actions and accountability, and finally the dispute and recognition. And there are all these details that you guys can read later. So let's start today's lesson. Inshallah, we'll try our best to cover this surah in 2 lessons. So today and next week, inshallah. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. I seek refuge in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from shaitan, the outcast, the cursed one. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the most gracious, the most merciful. Starting with ayah number 1, Hameen. We know that these are special characters that are present at the start of many surahs in the Quran. The meaning of these is only known to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. A lot of the Islamic scholars have tried to find meaning in them, and there are different logics. However, the broad consensus of majority of Islamic scholars is that the meaning of these letters is known only to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Tanzilum minar Rahmanir Rahim, a revelation from the most gracious, the most merciful. So this is a revelation coming from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, directly revealed to the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And it is starting with the fact that our Creator Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the most gracious and the most merciful. There are a lot of warnings that are coming in the surah. There are lots of mentions of punishments that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave, especially to the nation of Ad and Samud, and the warning for hellfire. However, the surah is starting with the fact that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the most gracious and the most merciful. So if people even when they make mistakes, and if somebody is on the wrong path and they go back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and they ask for his forgiveness, and if they seek forgiveness truly from the heart, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the most gracious and he is the most merciful. So this point is more important, and this is how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is starting the surah, and then all the warnings and punishments and everything will come. Kitabun Fussilat ayatuhu Qur'anan Arabiyyan liqawmin ya'lamun. So in ayah number 3, the name of the surah is coming. So this is a book that is detailed. The word Fussilat in Arabic means that it has details and it is explaining things in details to bring in clarity for all the people. So this is a book in which the ayahs or the verses of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have been mentioned and they have been explained in detail. A Quran that is in Arabic, it's a fact for a people who know, for a people who of understanding, who want to seek this knowledge, who want to gain this knowledge. So this is a book that is detailing the verses or ayahs of from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Arabic, and it is the Quran that is revealed in Arabic, because Arabic in itself is a very detailed language. It's a very elaborative language, and a lot of things can be explained, and it has a lot of words to explain different things that are not present in any other language. And this is for people who know, who are people of understanding. Bashiran wa Nazira, a giver of glad tidings and a warner. So this is at the same time, it gives good news. Glad tidings means it gives and shares good news. Who will get the good news? Those people who follow the guidance. They are the ones who get the good news that they will be going into the heaven and Jannah, right? But it is a warner for those people who ignore the guidance and those people who do not follow the guidance, then there is a punishment of hellfire waiting for them. So at the same time, it is giving good news for those who follow. However, it is also giving bad news for those who don't follow. فَأَعْرَضَ أَكْثَرُهُمْ فَهُمْ لَا يَسْمَعُونَ. But most of them turn away as if they do not even hear. And this is something that we'll discuss later as well. Most of the people, they turn away, right? So one thing that this ayah is telling us and informing us is Quran is a giver of glad tidings and a warner. So there is a right path and a wrong path. Those people who follow the right path, it is good news for them. Those people who follow the wrong path, it is bad news for them. However, another fact that is coming is, but most of the people turn away as if they don't even hear. So imagine, look at this picture, that the one in front of us. If this is the right path and this is the wrong path, then most of the people are going on the wrong path. So we cannot say, oh, majority of people are doing this, or most of my friends are doing this, I want to do the same, or my entire class is doing this and they're about to go. Majority, or look at these Muslims, they are also Muslims, but they are doing these things. It doesn't matter. And we have to also differentiate between those people who are born Muslims and those people who are practicing Muslims. We have discussed this multiple times during our classes. Practicing, we have to follow the practicing Muslims, those Muslims who are truly living the guidance. It's not enough just to know, it's not enough just to be a born Muslim. What is important is to follow the guidance in every matter. And Quran in itself, it is mentioned that majority of the people, they turn away as if they have not even heard. So imagine somebody calling people, and let's say he's calling from the middle of this road, he's standing over here, and he's saying, guys, come here, this is the right path. And in order to follow the right path, you have to do these things, these are halal, and you have to let go of these things, these are haram. But then people are saying, no, 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 they don't listen to him, and they just keep on turning on the wrong way as if they're not even hearing. So the lesson for us, who will tell me what is the lesson for us? What should we do? Let's see. Anyone who wants to share, what is the lesson for us from this ayah? So here we are being told Quran is a guidance. It gives good news to those people who follow. It is a bad news for those people who don't follow. It is a warner. And then Quran is stating most of the people are not following it. Majority is going on the wrong path. So what should be the action for us? What should we do? Who will tell me? Whatever comes to our mind. So we have a couple of answers. One answer is we should follow the right path. Correct? Excellent. And then the Sayyid Faiz is mentioning, continue on the right path, even if majority does not. Jazakumullahu khairan to both of you, Abdullah and Faiz. Both of you are right. You are correct. So the lesson for us is majority of the people don't follow the guidance, but we have to be on the right path, even if you're alone. See this one man going on the picture on the right. He is following the right path. He doesn't care about others. He doesn't care about what others will think, what they will say. All he wants is to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and follow the guidance. Majority of the people will be doing a lot of the actions that are not in line with Islamic Sharia. First of all, we have to understand what is Islamic Sharia, what is Sharia law, what is halal, what is haram, what we should do, what we should not do. And then we have to implement it on our lives, regardless of how difficult it is, regardless of what other people think. Imagine this guy going alone on this path, everyone yelling and asking him, hey, where are you going? Where are you going? This is the right path. Everybody's going there. Follow, follow. But still he knows this path may be tough initially, but then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make ease for him. He will follow the right path. So this is the lesson for us as well. Moving forward. وَقَالُوا قُلُوبُنَا فِي أَكِنَّةٍ مِّمَّا تدعونا إليه وفي آذاننا بقر ومن بيننا وبينك حجاب فأعمل إننا عاملون. And they say our hearts are in covering from what you call us to it, and in our ears is deafness, and between you is a screen. So between us and you is a screen. So work, indeed we are working. Now, it's like, those people who are not following the guidance, they are saying that, their hearts are shielded and they cannot hear. And the answer that that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has taught to the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is fine. You can go on your way. We will go on our way and we will see what happens. Same like the previous picture that we saw where the person was going in that direction. Imagine everybody calling him. His answer is, you guys, all of you want to follow whatever you want to follow. Fine. You can do whatever you want. I will continue to follow the right path regardless. قل إنما أنا بشر مثلكم يحيى إلي أنما إلهكم إله واحد. Say only I am a man like you. It is revealed to me that your God is only one God. So this is something that the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is a messenger. His job is to transfer and share the message. فَاسْتَقِيمُوا إِلَيْهِ وَاسْتَغْفِرُهُ. So take a straight path to him and ask his forgiveness. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is only one God. Go to him, seek his forgiveness, seek his guidance, and follow the straight path that has been shared from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as a guidance. وَوَيْلٌ لِلْمُشْرِكِينَ, and woe to the polytheists, those people who are following multiple gods. They are on the wrong path and they will be facing punishment. So woe to them, to the polytheists. الَّذِينَ لَا يُؤْتُونَ الزَّكَاةَ وَهُمْ بِالْآخِرَةِ هُمْ كَافِرُونَ. Those who do not give the zakah, they are in the hereafter, and they in the hereafter, they are disbelievers. So here, we know zakat, giving money to the poor, and there's a stipulated amount. There's a working that is done. And it is 2.5% of your hoarded wealth that you need to give to the poor. The idea in Islam of zakat is that the wealth should be kept in distribution. No person should hoard wealth. Any unused wealth, you have to give part of that. It's not saying that Allah SWT is not saying that you should give away all the extra wealth that you have. No, the point is that there should be part of that wealth that should be continue to go to the poor people, to the needy people. Because imagine if people who have wealth, they continue to hoard, and they continue to keep it all to themselves, then there will be a point in time where there will be a huge divide in the society, and some of the people will not even have enough money or food to feed themselves or their families. So Islam, in the concept of money and wealth, is that it should be kept in distribution. Some people should be, and people should be benefiting from it. And that's the entire idea of zakat as well. You only have to pay zakat on wealth that is hoarded or kept, not that is something that someone is benefiting from. And there are details in Sharia that you can go through. I don't want to touch upon that. So zakat, the action for us is zakat is one of the fundamental pillars of Islam. It is given on hoarded wealth, not on earnings. So if you want to be safe, ideally you should give more. So let's say that whatever the calculation becomes, just to be on the safe side, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned that, those people who do not give zakat are equal to as disbelievers. So in order not to be labeled or not to go towards, then not to cross that boundary of becoming a disbeliever, we should try to calculate the zakat, whatever is the working that is coming on our hoarded wealth, and try to give slightly a bit more just to be on the safe side. So this is a direct action that is coming for us from that ayah. Let's continue. Inna ladina amanu wa amilu salihati lahum ajrun ghayru mamnoon. Indeed, those who believe and do the righteous deeds, for them is a reward that is never ending. What an amazing compensation. You only give 2.5% of zakah to the needy from your hoarded wealth that you're not using, no one else is using. And look at the amazing reward that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned. The reward for them is never ending. So they will continue to abide in Jannah and in heaven forever. So for something, only a 2.5% that you're giving, of course, you're following all the rest of the guidance. And if you go to Jannah, the reward is never ending. This is the benefit and the reward or the compensation that we get from our Lord, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, our amazing creator. قل أئنكم لتكفرون بالذي خلق الأرض في يومين وتجعلون له أندادا. Say, do you indeed surely disbelieve in the one who created the earth in 2 periods and you set up with him rivals? This is the definition of our creator. How can you even set rivals with him or in front of him? ذَلِكَ رَبُّ الْعَالَمِينَ. That is the Lord of the worlds, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وجعل فيها رواسي من فوقها وبارك فيها وقدر فيها أقواتها في أربعة أيام. And he placed therein mountains firmly set on the earth above it. And he blessed therein and determined therein its sustenance in 4 periods. So he created the heavens and the earth, placed mountains to firmly keep it, and then he provided all the sustenance or all the food, the sources of food around the world, not only for us, for human beings, but for all his creations. He is the provider. Allahu khairur razaqeen. Sawa'an lis-sa'ilin, equal for those people who ask. So this is equal to 4 periods for those people who ask, for those people who have his question on how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created this earth and all this provision and all his creation. How much time did it take? So this is the answer to for all of them. ثم استوى إلى السماء وهي دخان فقال لها وللأرض ائتيا طوعا أو كرها قالتا أتينا طائعين. Then he directed himself towards the heaven. So he placed himself and then towards the heaven while it was smoke. So heaven was nothing, it was just smoke. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created. We know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the only creator who creates out of nothing, right? And then he created the heaven out of smoke, and then he said to it and to the earth, come both of you, willing or unwilling. So let's come. There is a purpose that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created the earth and the heaven, and then he asked them to come. Are they willing or unwilling? Then both of them answered. They both said, we come willingly. We are following. So they are also willingly coming to following the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They are also following guidance. So the earth and the heaven, they are Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's creation. And he asked them to come as in follow what he wants them to do for the purpose that he has created. Both of them then said, yes, we come willingly and we follow the guidance and we will fulfill the purpose for which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created them. This was their answer. So we need to look at ourselves on, how we are living our lives. Are we truly following Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's guidance or not? فَقَضَاهُنَّ سَبْعَ سَمَوَاتِ في يومين وأوحى في كل سماء أمرها وزينا السماء الدنيا بمصابيح وحفظا. Then he completed them as 7 heavens in 2 periods, and he revealed in each heaven. So there are 7 heavens and layers, and he created them in 2 periods. It said Yom can be a day, it can be any period. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows it. And he revealed in each heaven its affairs, and we adorned the heaven, the world with lamps. So the last heaven is adorned with lamps, meaning all the stars. And the objective of those is to also beautify the sky, and another one is to guard. Remember when we learned about the shooting stars, that any devil or shaitan or shayateen, when they're trying to go towards the sky to listen to things that they're not supposed to, a shooting star hits them. So there are two purposes of creation of the stars. One is to adorn the sky and to beautify it and to give light as well. As well, like the sun is one of the stars that is a source of light, that is a source of a lot of benefit that we get from the sun. And also another purpose of creating these stars is to guard the sky and shooting stars when they're hitting the shayateen. Zalika taqdirul aziz al alim. That is the decree of the Almighty, the All-Knower. This is how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has set it all up. فَإِنْ أَعْرَضُوا فَقُلْ أَنذَرْتُكُمْ صَاعِقَةً مِثْلَ صَاعِقَةِ عَادٍ وَثَمُودَ. But if they turn away, then say, I have warned you of a thunderbolt like the thunderbolt and a lightning of Ad and Samud. So the punishment of the Ad and Samud, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is reminding all the people, remember, if you don't follow the guidance, then you will be punished the same way, like the nations of Ad and Samud. إِذْ جَاءَتْهُمُ الرُّسُلُ مِنْ بَيْنِ أَيْدِيهِمْ وَمِنْ خَلْفِهِمْ أَلَّا تَعْبُدُوا إِلَّا اللَّهِ. When came to them the messengers from before them and from behind them, do not saying so they said, do not worship except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the messengers who were sent to the nations of Ad and Samud, they invited them to the guidance. Say, La ilaha illallah. There is only one ilah, which is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. قالوا لو شاء ربنا لأنزل ملائكة فإنا بما أرسلتم به كافرون. Their response to the messengers' words, they said, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had willed, then he would have sent down surely angels. How come you are coming in front of us as human beings? He would have sent down angels. So indeed, we are disbelievers in whatever you are saying. So they just disbelieve. And they said that we do not believe in what you are saying. فَأَرْسَلْنَا عَلَيْهِمْ رِيحًا صَرْصَرًا فِي أَيَّامٍ نَحِسَاتٍ لِنُذِيقَهُمْ عَذَابَ الْخِزْيِ فِي الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا. So we sent upon them a furious wind in the days of misfortune, that we may make them taste the punishment of disgrace in the life of the world. So they were severely punished in the life of the world. وَالْعَذَابُ الْآخِرَةِ أَخْزَى وَهُمْ لَا يُنْصَرُونَ. And surely there's a punishment of the hereafter that is more disgracing, and they will not be helped. So they were severely punished. Now, there is a very important lesson for us. When we get good at anything, and when we try, and when we gain power and skills, when Allah SWT gives us power or any skill set, what happens? What comes to our mind? Shaitan tries to make us arrogant. And it starts with the thought, oh, I'm good. See, I'm good at this, and I'm learned. And then eventually it turns into, I am better than others. And this is what puts arrogance. The previous story that we just learned about is, sorry, there is, if you could please go on mute. Ahmed, Jazakallahu khairan. Okay. So here, as you guys can see, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us all the capabilities and skill sets. It can be physical power, like the strength. It can be something that you're good at something. You're good in writing, you're good in collaboration, you're good in creativity, you are good in solving problems. You can be good in math, you can be good in English, you can be good in any other thing. What shaitan does is, or what the feeling that we get ourselves is, oh, I'm so good. I'm really good at this. See, maybe you're getting good marks in math. Maybe you're getting good marks in English or science or anything else, physics, chemistry, accounting. So the first feeling that you understand, that comes to your mind is, oh, I'm good. But then shaitan tries to move you towards I am better than others. And this is arrogance. This is arrogance that is not accepted. This is arrogance that is not liked in Islam. And this is the arrogance that even shaitan had himself, because he was like, I am better than human. You have created him from clay and created me from fire. This is what built his arrogance. And this is exactly the element of arrogance that shaitan wants to build in all of us, so that all of us will be punished by Allah SWT on the day of judgment. So the lesson for us in this one, who will tell me what is the lesson for us? Let's say we get good at anything. What should we do, or what should we not do? What comes to your mind? You can unmute yourself and answer, or you can write on chat, whichever way convenient for you. So there are two answers that just came. So Wabil is mentioning we should be humble. Jazakallah khairan Wabil. And Sayyid Faiz is saying stay humble and thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Beautiful. Jazakallah khairan. Don't become arrogant. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives you anything, gives you any strength, gives you any skill set, be humble. Okay? Because shaitan will try to take us to the wrong path. So don't become arrogant. Stay humble when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives you strength. And there is a fact that there is no one who is mightier than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Another answer that came. Sheroz, understand that we as Muslims have been blessed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with this talent, but at the same time, do not cross a limit and become arrogant and remain humble. Jazakumullahu khairan to all of you guys, Shehroz, Sayyid Faiz and Wabil, for all your amazing answers. This is exactly what I wanted to say. So let's move forward. وَأَمَّا ثَمُودُ فَهَدَيْنَاهُمْ فاستحبوا الأعمى على الهدى فأخذتهم صاعقة العذاب الهون بما كانوا يكسبون. And as for Thamud, we guided them, but they preferred the blindness over the guidance. So we seized them with a thunderbolt of the punishment, humiliating for what they used to earn. So Thamud got blinded and they did not follow the guidance. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala seized them and gave them a punishment. Again, a very important lesson for us. Quran gives us clarity to see, and it gives us the purpose of our life. When people ignore this and they ignore the guidance, they just want to do whatever they want to do. Don't tell me what to do. I want to live my own life, right? Then you are being blinded and you are ignoring it like the nation of Thamud. So you just want to put it on the side, the guidance. You don't want to listen to any Islamic scholar. You don't want to listen to anyone. You don't want anything. You just want to continue whatever you want to do, fulfill your desires the way you want to fulfill your desires. That means you're almost blind. You have forgotten the purpose of our creation. It has been stated, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we have been sent as a test in this life. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to see who does the right deeds and who does the wrong deeds and who follows just his desires and continues on the wrong path. So Quran gives us the guidance. It gives us the clarity to see our purpose. So we should not be blind and ignore it like the nation of Samud did. Moving forward. وَنَجَّيْنَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَكَانُوا يَتَّقُونَ. And we save those who believed and those who used to fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala punishes the nations, He saves those who were following the Prophet or the Messenger who was sent to them, and their followers and their companions, while all the others, the majority, they get destroyed and they get punished. وَيَوْمَ يُحْشَرُ أَعْدَاءُ اللَّهِ إِلَى النَّارِ فَهُمْ يُوزَعُونَ. And the day will be gathered the enemies of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to the fire, and then they will be assembled in rows. This is the reality. This is the future picture that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is showing us, that people will be assembled in rows, and these were the enemies of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and enemies of Islam, and they will be thrown into the hellfire then, those entire rows. Hatta iza ma ja'uha shahida alayhim sam'uhum wa absaruhum wa juluduhum bima kanu ya'malun. Until when they came to it will testify against them, their hearing, their sight, their skins, as to what they used to do. Imagine, you're going there, you cannot even defend yourself. Your own eyes will testify what you watched. Your own ears will testify what you heard. Your skins, your hands, what you did with these hands. Your feet will testify against us that, where we were walking, where we were taking our body towards, our mind, what we were thinking. All our organs of our body will be testifying against us. There is no point, we cannot hide. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't even need these testifications. He already knows. He has knowledge over everything. But just to make sure that nobody is saying, oh, I'm being thrown into hellfire wrongfully. No, I did not do it. I did not commit these sins. Just to um, just to just for that person, so that he's 100% sure his own body organs and his own body will start to talk. It will be a very desperate moment when everyone will be trying to save themselves from hellfire. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us. Allahumma ajirni minan nar. This will be a very desperate situation for those people who will be trying to save themselves, but then their own organs will start to testify against them. It will be too late. It's a day of huge regret. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us from hellfire. وَقَالُوا لِجُلُودِهِمْ لِمَا شَهِدْتُمْ عَلَيْنَا. And they will say to their skins, why do you testify against us? Those people in a moment of desperation will be asking their own organs, why are you testifying against us? قَالُوا أَنَتْقَنَا اللَّهُ الَّذِي أَنْتَقَ كُلَّ شَيْءٍ وَهُوَ خَلَقَكُمْ أَوَّلَ مَرَّةٍ وَإِلَيْهِ تُرْجَعُونَ. They will say, Allah made us speak. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made us speak, the one who makes speak everything. And He created you the first time, and to Him you will be returned. Our organs will respond back to us that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was the one who created. And we did not follow the guidance. He's the one who is making us speak. So for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, nothing is impossible. وَمَا كُنْتُمْ تَسْتَتِرُونَ أَن يَشْهَدَ عليكم سمعكم ولا أبصاركم ولا جلودكم ولكن ظننتم أن الله لا يعلم كثيرا مما تعملون. And not you were covering yourself lest testify against you your hearing and your sight and your skins, but you assume that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not know much of what you do. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala already knows. He doesn't need these testifications. All these organs that will be speaking will be making those people more miserable, more desperate. They will be saying, why are you speaking now? And they would have nowhere to hide, nowhere to run. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala already knows everything. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide us. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive us and save us from this desperate, hugely desperate situation that those people who do not follow the guidance will be going. وَذَلِكُمْ ظَنُّكُمُ الَّذِي ظَنَنْتُمْ بِرَبِّكُمْ أَرْدَاكُمْ فَأَصْبَحْتُمْ مِنَ الْخَاسِرِينَ. And that was your assumption which you assumed about your Lord. It has ruined you. You assume that this is all wrong. You assume that, oh no, this is not Quran. Oh, you assume that this Quran is written by someone. You assume that Na'uzubillah, the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is making it up. All of these things you assume. And now you have become the losers. You are the ultimate losers. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is sharing the future from us. And this is as good as today is Saturday, tomorrow is Sunday, Monday. We know, right? Tomorrow is Sunday. We all know tomorrow is Sunday. And some of us have to go back to work after this break. Some of us have planned something. Still, some of the kids are off from school. And however, we plan our days, right? But we don't plan the day of judgment. We should plan the day of judgment. And then we should live our life accordingly. At every moment, we should check, are we doing the right thing? We are doing the wrong thing. Because we cannot assume all of this to be wrong. This is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is painting a picture in front of us of the future. He's saying this is going to be a meeting, day of judgment. You'll be brought in front. People will be regretting. So time is now for us to act. We are going through the test right now. We should act right now to save ourselves. فَإِن يَصْبِرُوا فَالنَّارُ مَثْوًى لَهُمْ. Then if they endure, the fire is an abode for them. وَإِن يَسْتَعْتِبُوا فَمَا هُمْ مِنَ الْمُعْتَبِينَ. For them, fire is abode for them, and if they ask for a favor, then not there will be any those who receive the favor. There will be no favor. No one will be able to help anyone on the day of judgment. وَقَيَّزْنَا لَهُمْ قُرْنَاءَ فَزَيَّنُوا لَهُمْ مَا بَيْنَ أَيْدِيهِمْ وَمَا خَلْفَهُمْ وَحَقَّ عَلَيْهِمُ الْقَوْلُ فِي أُمَمٍ قد خلت من قبلهم من الجن والإنس إنهم كانوا خاسرين. And we have destined for them companions who made fair seeming to them what was before them and what was behind them, and is justify against them the word among nations that have passed away before them of the jinn and the men. Indeed, they were losers. So all of them will become companions, and there are companions also shaitan who makes things good and who makes things desirable and enjoyable. You know, those people who do haram things or those people who don't do halal things, right? For them, when they're performing a deed, for them, it is the right thing to do. That's why they are doing it. At any point in time, any murderer who's killing someone, anyone who's doing corruption, anyone who's taking bribe or money, for them, it is good. It's really good to take that money, right? Because they feel like, I'm just getting the money and I'll do this with that and that with that. So these things, whenever anybody is committing a sin, it is made for them as if it's the best thing to do at that point in time, which is why they do it. However, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, as Muslims, and if we understand the purpose of our creation, we have to be careful. At every moment, we have to be careful and continue asking forgiveness from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because regardless of how much you are careful, you can still commit sins, you can still make mistakes. So we should continue to ask forgiveness from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So all of these people will make things like, come with me. It will be a lot of fun. Let's go. There'll be girls in that party. Let's go. We'll get a chance to talk to them, and we'll get, it will be a lot of fun. Come, it's a concert, and there'll be let's watch the movie. It's fine. There are some dirty scenes. It's okay. Let's look at this picture. It's fun. It's so while you're not supposed to. So these things are made fair seeming or made good to appear good to us, but they're not. So we have to always pause and see, and we have discussed this multiple times. We need to apply the Islamic filter, the filter that is something taking me closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Is this act or action, or is it taking me away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and Islam? So that we are not amongst those ultimate losers on the day of judgment, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is calling them out clearly in front of us. وقال الذين كفروا لا تسمعوا لهذا القرآن والغوا فيه لعلكم تغلبون. And said, those who disbelieve, do not listen to this Quran, and they made noise therein so that you may overcome. So those people who are disbelievers, they will always tell you, oh, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? Really? You're not coming? Why? Oh, because, no, but look at them. All of the Muslims are there. They're also Muslims. You are the better Muslim than them. Always people will try to discourage you, those who do not disbelieve, because they are themselves not following. They'll say, no, Islam is easy. You are making it tough for yourself. We have to try to understand what is Sharia. We have to try to understand what is Islamic laws, and we have to try ourselves to live accordingly, because people will make a lot of noise to turn you away from Islam, because we saw it earlier in the previous ayahs today that majority of them are not on the right path. They can be born Muslims. There are 1 billion Muslims, but we don't know how many of them are truly following Islam. So we have to try our best. And even if we are the only one left on a path, we should follow the right path. Even if everyone is doing something, we should not follow them. This is how we can be truly amongst the successful ones. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep us amongst the few. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep us amongst the few who follow his religion the right way. Ameen. فَلَنُذِيقَنَّ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا عَذَابًا شَدِيدًا وَلَنَجْزِيَنَّهُمْ أَسْوَأَ الَّذِي كَانُوا يَعْمَلُونَ. We will cause to taste, but surely those who disbelieve, a punishment that is severe, and we will recompense them surely with the worst of what they used to do. So here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is putting a stamp and a guarantee that those people who were deliberately doing wrong, who were on the wrong path, who did not seek forgiveness, they will be getting a recompensation of a severe punishment according to what they used to do. Last ayah for today. ذَلِكَ جَزَاءُ أَعْدَاءِ اللَّهِ النَّارِ. That is the recompense of the enemies of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is the fire. لَهُمْ فِيهَا دَارُ الْخُلْدِ. For them, therein is the home of the eternity. They will just live there forever in the fire. جَزَاءً بِمَا كَانُوا بِآيَاتِنَا يَجْهَدُونَ. as a recompense for what they used to do and reject our verses, our ayahs. They were rejecting the message, they rejected the guidance. This was a very tough lesson, today's lesson, and we got very tough ayahs. But if you recall, from the first ayah, the second ayah, Allah SWT starts by saying that He is the most merciful, He is the most compassionate and the most merciful. So all of this is being shared with us as a warning. It should really, it is something that we need to act upon. And we know that the starting of the surah was Allah SWT is the most merciful, He's the most compassionate. We should seek out to Allah SWT for forgiveness. Because otherwise, everything that followed, all of this punishment and the hellfire and the fact that Allah SWT will, even our own organs will start to speak against us. That desperate situation, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us from it. Okay. The lessons from today's class, majority of the people, number one, majority of people don't follow guidance, be on the right path, even if you are alone. So majority of people doing something, all my friends are doing this, my entire class is doing this, all my colleagues are doing it. Look at those, they are also Muslim, they are also doing it, is not a justification for doing anything wrong. Even if majority is on the wrong path, you have to be, even if you are one person, like in the picture shown, and you are on the right path, you have to stay on the right path, because only a few are the people who are on the right path. It has been stated multiple times in the Quran. Second action, zakat is one of the fundamental pillars of Islam, and we saw clearly ayah mentioning that those who do not give zakat are amongst the disbelievers. The principle of zakat, it is given on hoarded wealth, not on earnings or income, like usually we have income taxes. So no, zakat is given on hoarded wealth. Hoarded wealth means the wealth from whom nobody is benefiting from. If somebody is benefiting from, then the zakat is not supposed to be given. And even from the hoarded wealth, it is only 2.5%. Try to be on the safe side, try to give a little bit more, because then, Allah SWT mentioned those people who don't give zakat are the ones who are disbelievers. So in order to be amongst the disbelievers, we should try to be a bit on the safe side. Sharia law is pretty straightforward. It is amazing the way we have to give out zakat. The concept is that wealth should be distributed. It should not be amongst only the wealthy people. Just keep on keeping and holding it, while there are people out there, the needy and the poor, who are in need and they cannot even feed themselves or their families. So it is very, very important that we continue to give out zakat. Don't become arrogant when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives you strength, like the nations of Ad and Samud, and they became so arrogant. And strength, or anything, strength can be anything. It can be physical strength, it can be any skill. You are good at something, you're good at speaking, writing, collaboration, creativity, whatever. Whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives, because the way shaitan operates is that he starts to make us think, oh, you are good in this, very good. The next thought comes is, oh, I'm better than everyone. And this is the borderline difference between becoming arrogant. So we cannot be arrogant, and no one is mightier than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So regardless of whatever strength we can get, whatever, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the most mighty. So there is no reason for us to be arrogant. We should always stay humble whenever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us any strength or skill. Quran gives us clarity to see the purpose. And the nation of Thamud, they were completely blind and they just rejected the message. So we should follow the guidance. We should first understand the guidance, get this clarity why we have been created. And we cannot be blind and completely to ignore it, because if we ignore it, then there is a severe punishment waiting for us, like it was for the end of the nation of Thamud. This marks the end of today's lesson. Alhamdulillah, we finished well before time. Are there any comments, any questions before I close today's class? Okay. Subhanallah wa bihamdihi, subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Purity belongs to Allah. Oh Allah, and all praise be to Him. Purity belongs to you, O Allah, and all praise be to you. I bear witness that there is none worthy of worship besides you. I beg forgiveness from you and I repent before you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, my dear brothers. Inshallah, I will see you next week, same time.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.